But here's what most people do, most amateurs. They slide the rotor in, they walk down as they're making their cut, and when they get to the end and they finish, they let go of the on switch, but it still takes quite a long time for the bit to stop turning because it's so fast. Well, the person turns the rotor towards their own body. It's far more comfortable for your wrists to bend this way than it is for you to go that way. That's quite awkward. But I always teach everyone that as soon as the cut is done and you lift the rotor off, you turn the bit away from your body and put it down like that until the bit stops turning. Another common injury, somebody routes, they get to the end, they pull the rotor off, and then they turn it like this. They're so worried about the burn mark or the tear out they just got a foot behind that they get the rotor bit caught in their pants. It's going to sort of grab that fabric and start twirling it right in to the point you're cutting your leg now. There are all kinds of accident reports there about people getting rotor bits caught on their shirt, on their pants, on baggy track pants, all kinds of different things out there. That's why we don't have ties on our clothing, like say a track sweater or something with two strings hanging down. We can't have long hair hanging down, that kind of thing. So my routine, again, just come to the end. As soon as you're done, you come off gently and you immediately go that way. Then I can put the rotor down on the bench or on the project, whatever, always with the bit that way. It's going to turn for another maybe 10 to 15 seconds because of that high speed. Now, when you come into a rotor bit, I mentioned before that even with a fence, you don't want to feed into the bit with your hand in the first 3 or 4 inches. Because if something were to go wrong and you sort of overfeed the bit, it would throw the wood back and your hand would go flying right into the bit. It happens so fast you won't even know what hit you. All right, now, the only thing the rotor bit can do, though, in that case, is to throw the part backwards. It can't throw it that way because the fence is supporting it from behind. So it's not good that it threw it backwards, but at least it sort of restricts some of the other things that can happen. Now, if there's no fence at all, and let's say I do the same thing. So I start to come in like this. The bit's rotating this way. The cutter hits the end grain first, and that's hard wood. If you ever try hand planing end grain, you'll know how hard it is compared to planing the face or the edge. All right, so let's say I feed in a little bit too fast or just got too heavy of a cut. Now the rotor not only throws it backwards, but throws it that way. So my entire hand can go flipping over into that bit in a split second. All right, so with a fence, I can only go backwards. Keep your hand back several inches so that you're not going to get hurt if it were to happen. But it's even worse when there's no fence because now it can go back and over. And you see, if it starts going over, you're not just moving that way. The bit's actually cutting along the end grain while that's happening. So it's throwing it even faster. It would literally be a split second and your hand's in the bit already. So the general rule is, when a fence can be used, you use it. Okay, I set the fence level to the bearing using a straight edge or ruler, but the fence does still serve a major purpose. Okay, not only does it make it safer, it's easier to move the wood, it's more stable. Plus I have my dust collection pickup on my fence. If I don't use a fence, I don't really have that. Now, what I want to do next is route the curved side instead of something straight. And unfortunately, when you're doing curves, you can't use the fence. So I'm going to take that off and then talk about what we can do to make the curved cutting go safely.